So hello and welcome back to the channel. So in this episode we're going to be taking out the gearbox. We need to address the leakage that we've got coming out of the drive shaft flanges. We're going to be renewing the oil seals and everything else that goes with that on the sides of the gearbox. We've also going to do a little bit of a service with it, so we'll give it a clean up, everything else. Obviously if you're taking the gearbox out, you've got to disconnect the gear shift coupler. So we might take this opportunity to replace that. We also know we've got to take off the strap for the earth, because obviously without the strap it's insulated against the electrics. So taking the strap off as well. Might even renew that, I don't know yet, depends on what condition it is. But addressing the frame horns is going to be leveling them frame horns up so that the gearbox sits square in the section that it's supposed to be, and hopefully that will address some of the problems with the angles that we've got on the drive shafts themselves. We seem to have a problem with one side with there not being enough space, and on the other side we've got excess space. So something's not right, and the only thing I can put this down to is the accident that we had a few years back. So we're going to be addressing them today. So let's take a look at getting that gearbox out. Now there's a couple of reasons why we are taking the engine and the gearbox out. One is we've got a leak on this side, and I believe it's coming from the oil seal that's on the back of the drive shaft flange, because it's covered everything in oil. This side's okay, but I have ordered two seals, so we may do them both. And the other thing is the frame horn on this side is slightly higher, probably only about 2 inches, but when the van was involved in an accident it bent that frame horn upwards, so we need to straighten that out so that the engine sits in the right plane. Not sure if you can see it from there, it is a little bit difficult, but I can see that the level is going to be off. So my intention to do is to, once I'm ready, I'm going to measure from there to the floor, there to the floor. That should be equal, and then we're going to warm that up, maybe put a bar on that as well, and bend that down a little bit. So the gearbox is going to come out for the seal and also for the frame horn repair. So we're going to be taking the drive shafts off now. Just got the draper sockets out, well, the Torx bits. We're going to be taking off them. So I found the easiest way to do this is to lift the wheel off the floor, and using the correct Allen belt, simply hold the wheel as you bring that off, and then we'll rotate these around until they're all slack. Then we'll move to the out ones and do the same there. And once you've got everything slack, you can then possibly use a drill or something like that to rotate them round, or perhaps your fingers, which is probably what I'm going to do. There we go. So that's the 6 there done. So we're moving to the others on the outer. We've now got the ins and outers released. So we've now got the ins and outers released. So hopefully, to speed things up, we'll put things on the drill. There we go. So that's all that side up. We'll now move to the innards. Should have the same sort of experience, I think. This is where a smaller drill would be useful. In fact, I've just had a thought. Why don't we take that out of the adapter, put the torque bit into the drill, and then hopefully this will be a shorter, oh yes, I think with the extension on to convert it from the socket, made it a little bit too long. We've just got his last one there. Oh, I can see oil. Oil's leaking out. Oh, we've got an oil leak. There we go. I think that's the that's proof that the seal has gone on this side. Now, for the life of me, I can't remember how this came off. If we took the inner out first and then the outer, or the outer out first and then the inner. It's not made easy by things being in the way. So they're all free at that side. Although they are. There we go. I think we've got a couple of bolts that have not wound out properly. That's one. In fact, I'm going to take the bolts out completely, so we can't get stuck anywhere. So we've got his bolts out on that side. Hopefully now the CV will move a little bit freer. It does on the inside. On the cap, I think, oh dear, yeah, that just, yeah, it smells a little bit, so it is probably going to be gearbox oil, that. I think. So that's well and truly stuck in there. I'm not sure why. There's normally some side to side movement like this on that side, so I'm wondering whether things have been knocked this way in the accident. So there's definitely no movement, or hardly any movement on that end. So what we may have to do is take the big bolts out the cradle, slightly move the gearbox, and then take out the shaft. So that's going to be, it's going to take me a little bit longer, so I'll bring you back once we've done that. So we've got a difference on this side to what we've got on the other side. As you can see, this one, there's plenty of room for it to move around, so hopefully when we come to take the bolts out there, that will come out quite easily. I think the only restriction at the moment is it's dropped onto the angle that it will do on the CV joint, whereas on that side there's not enough, so we must have something that's slightly off. Don't think the van's been fitted with different length drive shafts, but that's one thing that we will be checking, so we'll check that, but we'll get that off next and then that will be removed. So now we've got all the bolts removed, quite easy, quite a lot of oil in there. Don't know why there's oil inside, because there's no way through from the gearbox to the drive shaft. So the only thing I can think of is the grease has got really hot and it's gone ruddy. I'm not sure why we've got oil there, but again we need to delve into this. On the outside it's just grease as normal, so obviously there's something going on in there. It's allowing oil to come out. Not sure what's in there yet, but we will endeavour to find out. So for now we've got one off, and we'll progress onto the other side, see if we can get that one off. So a number of years I was working on a bar harp bug, and we had to re-tap these, so I bought a tap for those. They are 27mm at the end, so we're going to be taking them out now. That should give us some room to get the gearbox to move slightly to one side to allow us to get the drive shaft out. Now I think they are a fine thread, so it does seem like it's going to take all week to get the bolts out. They are quite substantial. And what I will do as we get towards the end is I will put the jack underneath so it doesn't drop. I'm expecting that we'll get the bolt slack, and then this will move and that will drop out. So I think we may have to get the jack in first. I think what we may do is resort to the axle stand. Let's see if it will come out with the drill on the extension. I've never bought an impact drill yet, but this is where one was coming in. That's not too bad. There we go. So they've dropped off nicely. I can hear some creaking going on. That sounds like something's moved. And there we go. Success at last. So we've now got his drive shaft out, and like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to move this side over here, and we're going to be working on this side once we've got the gearbox out to try and bring that down to give the gearbox the straightness or the levelness or the level that it requires. Now luckily, just moving up and down is quite easy, so I should be able to pop the bolt back in. That's one in. Again, just into that one. There we go. Right, we'll just see what this is like. There. It's good. I can actually feel that that's not going correctly. I think we may have the frame fork inwards as well. So if that's moved over there, then that would account for why one's a little bit closer on the drive shaft than the other. the right place. Let's give it another try. Yep. There we go. So that's the gearbox back in. Like I said, we're going to have to make some changes and adjustments on this to get everything level. But that's going to be our next step, so I'll bring you back when we're on to that. So with any look now, we've got our gearbox on our jack. I think I've got everything on. Seems to be movement. Not sure why it's not wanting to come out. I think I've disconnected everything. It's come forward about 2 inches. And it just does not want to see it to come out any further. So the only thing that's holding it on basically was the square headed bolt that goes on the shaft for the gear change. There we go. I'm not sure if we've got a good point there for balance, but at least it's come out. So now we've got the gearbox out, we can look at why we've got oil just here. And I believe that the oil seal on this side has gone at the back, so we're going to be taking both of them off and renewing the oil seals and giving it a bit of a clean up. It is a 1303S gearbox, so it is worth doing. I'm going to check it out thoroughly, give it an oil change and a clean, and then once we've cleaned up the back of the van, we'll reinstall it. Right, so to level this off, we've cut around that area there. We put a piece of steel in for the moment, and this now is lower at this side as we wanted. We've only dropped it about 15 to 20 mil, but by cutting that we've been able to knock this down to level the cradle off. So hopefully once we've welded that section up, we should be able to put the gearbox in, and this time it should be level. So let's move on to it. So bringing it in again, what we've done is we've plated that area up, and we've now got this at the right angle. Since the accident it's been bent, but now we've got it right. Done some welding around that area, quite substantial I think, and filleted a piece in so that it should be as strong as standard. All we're going to do now is clean all the mess up from the leaking seals on the gearbox. And what we've just been doing on the IRS is we've been replacing the seals that are underneath here. The only thing we've got is we've got some caps that seem to be, or should be on here, that are missing. The ones that we've got, which are these, we've got a hole in the middle. So I think the centre caps that were in there are worn away, possibly due to the drive shafts rubbing on them. They've worn through. Not sure whether or not that's supposed to be metal in the middle, because it feels like metal. We've got metal at that side. Or whether or not that should be a complete piece of steel. Can't really tell because I've never taken one to pieces. But we'll be popping that back in there. New ones, once we find out what they're called and basically where we can get them from. So we keep you updated on that, and we'll pop a link in if you need them on yours. So we've now managed to get the gearbox out. Obviously we need to order up the seals that we've got for the ends of the output flanges. So once we've done that, we'll be installing that back into the van. I've been looking on various websites to find the flange seals. I found one at Heritage. I'll put down the part number if possible before we go. And basically what we're going to try and do is have a look at what other people's done on YouTube. So a bit of information there, and what they've done to renew the end caps. I think it's just a case of pressing them in myself, but we'll have a look on YouTube and see what other people's done before we attempt to do it ourselves. I don't have any reference to replacing this on my manuals, so I'm going into this job a bit blind. But once we've done these seals on this this gearbox, we'll be putting it all back in. So watch out for that one in the future. So that's about it for today, guys. Going to clean the gearbox up a little bit more, maybe repaint it, I'm not sure. But I'll see you next time. Bye for now.